Welcome, viewers, to tonight's terrifying journeys through time, a trilogy of horror stories. Dive into the unnerving world of time travel horror stories where the boundaries of time and reality blur into nightmares. These tales explore the chilling consequences of tampering with time, each story unraveling the dark side of human curiosity and the terrifying unknown that lies beyond the tick of a clock. The Clock That Rewound Lives introduces us to a cursed antique clock, a relic shrouded in mystery and dread. Its intricate design and ancient gears hide a sinister power, one that beckons with the promise of unraveling the fabric of time itself. Little does anyone know, this clock harbors a curse far beyond mere time manipulation. A historian, fascinated by the allure of the past, stumbles upon the clock. His initial intrigue quickly turns to obsession as he unwittingly triggers the clock's power. With each turn of its hands, he is pulled deeper into a vortex of time, unaware of the horrors that await him. The first trip back in time is nothing short of horrifying. The historian is thrust into a past event so dark and twisted, it shakes the very foundation of his understanding of history. What was meant to be a journey of discovery quickly becomes a nightmare from which there seems to be no awakening. With every rewind, the fabric of the historian's reality begins to distort. Time, once a linear path, now warps into a maze of confusion and terror. The boundaries between past and present blur, leaving him in a world where nothing is as it seems, and familiar faces turn into twisted versions of themselves. As the historian began to interact with the distorted versions of people he once knew, a chilling realization dawned on him. These twisted figures, once familiar faces, now harbored dark intentions, their personalities warped by the ripples he'd caused in the fabric of time. It was as if the very essence of who they were had been irrevocably altered, leaving behind mere shadows of their former selves, each encounter a stark reminder of the consequences of his actions. In his desperation to rectify the past, the historian found himself caught in a relentless cycle of cause and effect. Each attempt to fix the timeline only led to more dire outcomes, the fabric of reality fraying further with every rewind. It seemed as though the clock had a will of its own, trapping him in a loop of unintended consequences, each more horrifying than the last. The historian's reality had become a maze of twisted timelines, each path leading to the same dreaded event he sought to prevent. It was as if the clock was mocking his efforts, ensnaring him in a loop that tightened with every turn of its hands. The realization that he was trapped in this cycle, reliving the same horror endlessly, was a torment worse than any physical pain. In a final act of desperation, the historian resolved to destroy the cursed clock, hoping to shatter the cycle of horror it had wrought. This decision led him to the brink of madness, as he sought to find a way to undo the damage that had spiraled far beyond his control. The clock, however, seemed almost sentient, resisting his efforts to break its hold over time and space. The aftermath of his attempt was ambiguous, leaving a haunting question. Had he succeeded in breaking free, or had he merely plunged deeper into the clock's malevolent grip? The resolution remained elusive, shrouded in the mists of the altered realities that the historian had set in motion. This uncertainty was a grim reminder of the perilous nature of meddling with time, a lesson etched in the annals of his now fragmented existence. The aftermath of the historian's attempts to destroy the cursed clock was ambiguous. While it seemed the cycle of horror had ceased, a lingering doubt remained. The fabric of time had been tampered with too severely, leaving the world slightly askew. Shadows of the past events still whispered in the present, suggesting the possibility of either a resolution or a deeper entrapment within a fractured timeline. In the quiet aftermath, the clock's remains held a sinister silence, as if biding its time. The historian, now wary of every tick of time, lived in a constant state of vigilance. The horror of endlessly reliving the same terror had ceased, but at what cost? The lines between reality and nightmare blurred, leaving him to question if true escape was ever possible. Transitioning from the haunting story of the historian, a new tale of dread begins with the time travel experiment gone wrong. A group of scientists, driven by curiosity and ambition, embarked on a forbidden experiment. Ignoring ethical advisories, they created a machine capable of breaching the boundaries of time itself. Their objective was clear: to venture into the unknown realms of the past and future, altering the course of human history. The first successful test of the time machine was a moment of triumph that quickly turned to terror. A volunteer, chosen for their bravery, was sent into a dystopian future. What awaited them was beyond anyone's wildest fears. A world ravaged by unknown calamities, populated by mutated beings and unimaginable horrors. The sight was a grim warning of a potential path humanity could tread if unchecked. The volunteers' mission to return and warn the present about the dystopian future faced insurmountable obstacles. Not only was the return journey fraught with peril, but the time machine itself began to malfunction. The intricate device, once a beacon of human achievement, became a trap. The volunteer found themselves caught in a relentless time loop, each cycle amplifying the horrors witnessed and warping their psyche beyond recognition. Upon arriving in the dystopian future, the volunteer was met with a landscape beyond recognition. Skyscrapers lay in ruins, and the air was thick with despair. This was a world where humanity had lost its way, plagued by horrors that seemed to crawl out from the darkest corners of imagination. Attempting to navigate this nightmarish reality, the volunteer encountered beings that were once human, now mutated into forms grotesque and pitiful. These creatures, a testament to the consequences of unchecked ambition and scientific folly, roamed the streets, a constant reminder of what the future could hold if the present remained unchecked. The urgency to return and warn the present of this potential doom became the volunteers' singular focus. However, the path back was fraught with obstacles. The time machine, their only beacon of hope, had malfunctioned during the transition, leaving the volunteer stranded in a timeline that should never have been accessible. As the volunteer struggled with repairs, the time machine began to act erratically, initiating unscheduled jumps and trapping them in an endless loop. Each cycle through time intensified the horrors witnessed, slowly eroding the volunteer's psyche. The stark realization dawned that they were not just battling the machine, but time itself. In the midst of despair, a grim possibility emerged: that the future witnessed was not set in stone, but a warning. The volunteer understood that the continuation of the experiment risked solidifying this dystopian nightmare. The struggle to destroy the machine and prevent its further use became a mission not just for survival, but for the salvation of humanity itself. In the face of mounting horrors and the realization of the time machine's destructive capabilities, the volunteer and the scientific team grapple with their consciences. The once noble pursuit of scientific breakthrough spirals into a desperate struggle to contain what they've unleashed. The focus shifts from exploration to prevention as the implications of their actions dawn on them. The machine, a marvel of human innovation, becomes a Pandora's box, its potential for disaster outweighing its promise. The team's efforts to dismantle the machine are fraught with challenges, technical difficulties, moral dilemmas, and the realization that they might erase their own existence in the process complicate their mission. The volunteer, having witnessed the dire consequences firsthand, pushes for the destruction of the machine with a zeal born of terror and guilt. Their debates are tense, filled with the weight of their responsibility towards humanity. Amidst this chaos, the volunteer decides to take matters into their own hands, making a heart-wrenching decision. Understanding the stakes and driven by a desire to prevent future suffering, they contemplate the ultimate sacrifice. The thought of erasing their existence or being trapped in an endless loop of horror looms large, yet the need to act is imperative. As the machine's destruction becomes imminent, the team faces the moral implications of their experiment. The volunteers' readiness to sacrifice themselves sparks a debate about the value of individual lives versus the collective good. This moment underscores the ethical quandaries inherent in tampering with the fabric of reality. It's a poignant reminder of the human cost of unchecked ambition. Transitioning from the intense climax of the time travel experiment gone awry, the narrative shifts to a new story, The Lost Time Traveler. This tale introduces a man who, through the accidental discovery of time travel, embarks on a journey to historic events. His initial thrill of exploration soon morphs into horror as he realizes the irreversible nature of his situation, setting the stage for a tale of curiosity, consequence, and the immutable flow of time. In a quest for unprecedented knowledge, a man stumbles upon ancient texts that unlock the secrets of time travel. Fueled by curiosity, he embarks on a journey to witness historical events firsthand. His initial thrill of exploration quickly morphs into a profound understanding of history's intricacies and complexities. As he delves deeper into the past, the joy of discovery fades, replaced by a growing horror. He realizes the return path to his own time has vanished, leaving him stranded in an era not his own. This chilling revelation marks the beginning of an unexpected and terrifying odyssey through time. During his travels, he encounters sinister figures lurking in the shadows of history. These guardians of time's secrets challenge his presence, revealing that history is far from the linear and benign sequence of events he once believed. Instead, it's a dark tapestry woven with hidden dangers and unspeakable truths. Driven by a desire to right the wrongs of the past, he attempts to intervene in historical events. Each alteration, however, only serves to spawn worse outcomes, demonstrating the delicate balance of time's web. His actions disrupt the natural order, leading to unforeseen and often tragic consequences. His continuous meddling with the timeline results in the loss of his very identity. He becomes a ghost, a mere whisper in the annals of history, unanchored to any time or place. This realization dawns upon him too late, leaving him to wander the corridors of time, forever lost to his own world. In his relentless quest to correct the course of history, the time traveler found himself erasing his own existence. He became a shadow, wandering through epochs, his identity diluted in the temporal streams. No longer belonging to the era from which he hailed, he was a ghost, unnoticed and fading. As he attempted to navigate his way back to his own time, he encountered guardians of time's secrets. These sinister figures were not merely myths, but gatekeepers of the temporal order. Their warnings were clear. Tampering with time could unravel the very fabric of existence, yet their cryptic nature only fueled his determination. In every historical event he visited, the traveler saw the dark underbelly of history. What textbooks glorified were often tales of deceit, bloodshed, and sorrow. This realization was a heavy burden, turning his journey of enlightenment into a path of horror. The more he tried to alter, the more chaos he invited. His final act was driven by desperation. With every ounce of knowledge and power at his disposal, he attempted to carve a path back to his origin. But time, ever so cruel, denied him passage. His efforts, monumental yet futile, left him stranded, a whisper among the ages. The traveler's tale became a legend, a mysterious figure woven into the fabric of various historical narratives. Unbeknownst to the world, his interventions had altered subtle realities, creating ripples that affected the present in ways too intricate to discern. His legacy, a stark reminder of curiosity's limits and the peril of meddling with time. The tale of the lost time traveler ends not with grandiose revelations, but with a poignant, haunting silence. As he fades into the annals of history, his story becomes a stark warning against the human penchant for curiosity that overreaches its bounds. His eternal solitude underscores the grim reality that some mysteries of the universe are best left undisturbed, serving as a somber reminder of the profound cost of meddling with the fabric of time. This brings us to the end of our trilogy for this evening. We hope you have enjoyed our cautionary tales. If you would like to see more of our horror stories, please like and subscribe to our channel to enjoy more terror tales. For now, sleep well, viewer, and we hope to see you next time.